at some examples of our sequences and see if they converge or diverge. Remember, converge means you get closer and closer to a specific value. Diverge means you're not getting close to any number in particular. You're just either getting bigger or you're jumping around. Either way, you're not getting closer to a number. So let's look at this first one and see what the pattern is. First of all, we need to figure out what the common ratio is. So the first one, to get from the first to the second number, to get from the 625 to 125, well, you're making your numbers smaller, so you're multiplying by some kind of fractional ratio. Well, it looks like you're dividing it by 5. That would mean that you're multiplying by 1/5. Well, that gets confirmed when you look at how do I get from 125 to 5, or sorry, from 125 to 25, is you're definitely dividing by a 5, which means you're multiplying by 1/5. And same thing with how you got from 125 to 5. You're again dividing by 5 or multiplying by 1/5. That means your common ratio is 1/5. So if you continue this pattern past the 5, multiplying by another 1/5, by your last term, 5 would get you a 1. Multiplying by another 5th after that would get you a 1/5. Multiplying by another 1/5 after that would get you 1/25, and so on and so forth. You'd continually get bigger denominators on your fraction. Well, if you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger denominators on your fraction, it means your actual number is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, if it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, it's getting closer to 0 and it's converging. Specifically, what is it converging or getting closer to? It's getting closer to 0. And again, this is talking about the values of our sequence are converging to 0. Let's take a look at this next one. Well, let's look at the next one. The first term is 2. The second term is -10. Then we go up to 50, then -250. We're jumping around quite a bit here. But to get from the first term to the second term, how do I get from a 2 to a -10? I multiply by a -5. Then to get the -10 to turn into a +50, I multiply by another -5. And another -5, and we'd keep on going, and we get bigger and bigger numbers that would alternate between positives and negative. It doesn't matter that they're alternating. What matters is the numbers are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're not getting closer to anything. They're just getting larger and larger, which means that they are diverging.